Good evening. You're watching the main news on HOY International Business Channel. I'm Janice Lo. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. Hong Kong makes its case as a world city by hosting two major sports events at the same time. Authorities launch a probe after suspected dog meat seller draws outrage on social media. And in Formula One, Red Bull capped a historic season after a thrilling Las Vegas Grand Prix. Hong Kong's ability to hold major sports events was fully showcased today. 8,000 runners hopped onto a mega bridge linking the city to Zhuhai and Macau for a half-marathon race, while dozens of athletes raced in Victoria Harbour in the Asia Triathlon Cup. Janice Lo reports.
More than 8,000 runners stepped foot on the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge in the inaugural half-marathon on the cross-border link. Participants included SAR representatives as well as actor Chow Yun-fat. They headed into uncharted territory. Some praised the scenic views along the northern coast of Lantau, but others complained of high winds and steep gradients along certain sections. Kenya's Geoffrey Kipchumba, one of 20 overseas athletes who appeared by invitation, led from start to finish, clocking in at 1 hour, 1 minute and 39 seconds. Hong Kong's Chen Ka-ho came back in 1 hour, 18 minutes and 48 seconds, half a minute faster than his wife, Yuki Cheng. The 39-year-old veteran admitted he wasn't at his best, but still had no regrets representing the SAR for the last time. On the other side of the city, elite triathletes competed in the Asia Triathlon Cup. In a departure from previous editions held in Tai Po's Plover Cove, the route this year was set along Victoria Harbour against the backdrop of the city's famous skyline. Local triathlete Jason Ng came in second with a time of 52 minutes and 6 seconds, with Irish champion James Edgar in sight. His teammate Bailey Brown finished third overall in the women's event, which was won by South Africa's Amber Schlabusch, who touched the tape at 59 minutes and 33 seconds. The event will return in March, after Hong Kong has been confirmed as one of 3 venues for the World Triathlon Cup next year. Both triathletes are aiming to do well in the next edition and qualify for the Paris Olympics. Janice Lo, Cable News.
The development chief has brushed off collusion concerns after another 7 land exchange applications have been received in border districts. Bernadette Lin also stood by the zoning plan of Chung Chung, even as residential sites could not win the heart of developers.
Taking to the airwaves, Development Minister Bernadette Lin revealed the government has received dozens of land exchange applications for residential developments in the future northern metropolis. We're now processing 7 applications in Kutong and Fanling, she said, suggesting other bids did not meet the scheme's requirements. 6 landowners are demanding land premium concessions, while the remaining one is willing to settle the premium at standard rates. Lin expected the 7 plots of land to translate into around 9,000 private units. In his policy address last month, Chief Executive John Lee has expanded the arrangement to cover designated industrial sites in the 2 border districts. Developers which own at least 90% of an area can file an application. Previously, applications are only allowed for land earmarked for housing and commercial purposes. Lin once again brushed off collusion concerns. Everything will be conducted under the sun, she said, adding that private participation does not necessarily amount to collusion. While developers are eager to gain a foothold in the northern metropolis, they had cold feet in the other new development area of Chung Chung. Tenders for multiple residential sites were withdrawn in recent months after no one was willing to meet the reserved price. A plot on top of the future Tung Chung East MTR station even failed to attract a single bid.
I think failed tender is largely because of the current economic situation in Hong Kong and in the world. So it shouldn't be something permanent. Whenever there is a failed tender, I think we should not run into knee-jerk reactions because the land uses for different parcels of land is premised on comprehensive planning and known demand.
Any abrupt change of land use could upset the overall zoning balance, she warned.
Authorities have launched an investigation over reports that an online shop was offering dog meat. A self-proclaimed food wholesaler drew widespread anger after offering fragrant meat. The cryptic advertisement on Facebook came with a cartoon of a dog and photos of hot pot. The page remains active as of tonight, with the owner saying response has been overwhelming after media reports. The Agriculture, Fisheries and Conservation Department said it will collaborate with police in its probe. It emphasized that it is illegal to slaughter dogs or cats in Hong Kong or sell the mammal's flesh as food. Offenders face up to 6 months in jail and a fine of $5,000. A manhunt is underway for 2 arsonists who hurled petrol bombs at a Kowloon Tong bar. But first, in our local wrap, a minibus driver succumbed to his injuries after he tried to stop his vehicle from rolling down a slope in Homanton. Janice Lo reports.
A minibus driver has died after trying to stop his vehicle from rolling down a slope with his body. Shortly before 11 p.m. last night, the 75-year-old man was meeting up his friend in Homanton to pick up a takeaway meal. He pulled up at Shangwall Street without passengers, and tragedy unfolded when he allegedly left his vehicle without applying the handbrake. The minibus soon began sliding forward, and out of desperation, the driver tried to stop the vehicle with his bare hands. He was eventually run over, trapped underneath the bus and certified dead at hospital. His friend who witnessed the accident was overcome with grief and broke down in tears. Police are hunting for 2 culprits on suspicion of arson in Kowloon Tong. At around 1 a.m., the 2 men allegedly hurled petrol bombs at a bar in Swanky Center on Junction Road. No one was injured, but the floor was charred after the fire was put out. The arson came just hours after a burger shop next door was splashed with red paint. It's not immediately known if the incidents are connected. Senior citizens were out and about today as they enjoyed free rides on most public transport. Anyone who is 65 or above need not pay when traveling on most MTR routes, except for cross-border and first-class trips. They can also ride for free on KMB, trams and a number of ferries, but not city bus. Thousands of shops and restaurants are also taking part in the annual Senior Citizens Day initiative by offering discounts. Janice Lo, Cable News.
Turning overseas, the World Health Organization has described the biggest hospital in Gaza as a death zone after the Israeli army laid siege to the complex over the past week. A team of WHO inspectors were allowed to check out El Shiva Hospital for roughly 1 hour. Apart from clear signs of shelling and gunfire, inspectors also found what they called a mass grave at the entrance, where dozens of dead bodies were piled up. Hospital management said they were given just 1 hour to evacuate, while some were even forced to leave by gunpoint. Thousands fled on foot, but nearly 300 patients remained, most of whom critically injured. The development came as Palestinians endured another night of bombardment across Gaza, with refugee camps and even schools hit. Onto the weather now. Staying fine and dry tomorrow, with temperatures ranging between 20 and 25 degrees. More pleasant days ahead this week. That's our main news for Sunday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Janice Lo. Thanks for watching. Good night.